Hello and welcome back. So continuing on with our TerrainViewer, in this video we're getting ready to start working with the BundleManager, and we'll also be working with something called the BundleAsset. So Leah's going to take a few minutes and explain to you about the BundleManager and what exactly it will be doing.
Right. If you remember in the previous set of videos, when we're exporting out the bundles, we did the little test that loaded in one of the asset bundles, and we went through and we set up, the update to load the information, but it was a blocking operation, and we had to do a test to see if the bundle was done. That is not the optimal way of dealing with loading of asset bundles. We want to be able to load asset bundles in an asynchronous method. The way we're going to do that is using coroutines. Now, the problem that I had when I was setting this system up is it wasn't very streamlined and it wasn't very intuitive, as well as the fact that it wasn't generic. I wanted to be able to load different types of asset bundles and have a system that would manage this all for me. So what I came up with in the end was this BundleManager. Its job is to take in a request for an asset bundle, and then it's going to take that pertinent information and put it into a class that is called a BundleAsset class. And basically what's inside this bundled asset are things like the name, the URL to that bundle, a reference to the asset bundle that gets loaded, a flag that lets you know that that bundle has been loaded, and it also has an action, or basically a way for you to assign an anonymous delegate to perform an action as soon as that asset bundle is been loaded, whether we're loading it from a hard drive or if we're downloading it from the cloud somewhere. So that's the main purpose of this BundleManager, as well as controlling, the synchronization. So what'll end up happening is you as a programmer will decide that a bundle needs to be loaded. You'll make that request. It gets added to the queue. The TerrainManager will then process one bundle at a time in a first in, first out queue. And there's going to be a little bit of complexity when we get to the point with dealing with terrain patches, because I had to kind of basically rig a temporary solution until something better comes along when I have time to sort through it, to go through and check whether or not a terrain patch asset bundle still needs to be loaded. Because if you remember with our test with our reworked terrain demo, we were doing a check to see whether or not the camera was still facing in a certain direction and whether or not the camera was close to that terrain patch before it was created. We want to do the same type of check here, where we're testing to make sure that that asset bundle that's about to be loaded is still close enough to the camera and is in viewing in the view frustum of the camera before we bother loading it. We don't want to waste time loading things that aren't going to be viewed.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I have a temporary workaround that we're going to put in right into the TerrainManager itself, or sorry, the BundleManager itself. At some point I would like to get that outside of that because it's not the best place for it. But I just wanted to bring that out. And let's see, how many videos we got lined up for this one? I think it's like 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, well, 5 now with this video.
Well, yeah, with this one, 5.
Yeah. So over the course of the next 4 or so videos, we're going to be going through, showing you the bundled asset interface and setting up the bundled asset class, as well as several or a couple of videos implementing our bundled manager. And then once we get all that in place, we can start playing with it to see if we can't get some of the terrain patches that we've built from our exporter in and running around in a real world.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. So up next, BundleAsset and the interface.
Yes.
Okay, well that is going to wrap up this video. We'll see you guys in the next. Thanks a lot.